But again, it's just understanding that, wow, you're right. I can do this. I do know that. You're right. And so you see people all the time. Tammy, you may be another example, but I see people that, go to a party and right before they're about to grab a piece of cake or something, they say, well, I shouldn't be eating this. Or, I really shouldn't. Or, gosh, I really need to go. Or, I really need to be there. People already know what to do. You just have to remind them and encourage them and give them some accountability. Because if they go, oh, wow, I got to talk to my coach about this next week. Okay, I'm not going to do that. So there is no magic, great science. It's just, again, reminding people of things they already know and fanning the flame. And a little bit of encouragement goes a long way.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's a measure of accountability in there, though, too, huh?
That's one of the big ones. And the fact is, it's two things. With guys, a lot of it's ego, and they want to get their money's worth. I'm paying this guy. I'm going to get my money's worth. All right, I'm going to do what he says I should do. So there's a lot of leverage there, which is great. And then the accountability side, too. Some people are just like, you know what, you can talk yourself out of anything. It's so easy to say, I'm going to work out, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and then the TV and the couch look so attractive. But if there's someone else on the line, you're going, oh, I don't want to let my coach down. That is just the extra little thing. Again, everyone thinks life is about these big, giant things, and it's just little steps, little decisions, little things every day is the key, not these giant breakthrough, moments. It's just a little thing.
Yeah. How were you able to kind of build up your customer base and build up your online ranking and that kind of thing to get to where you are? Like, what kind of tips maybe can you give to people about specific things maybe that they can do if they're going to take that leap probably and get into starting their own business and that kind of thing? How can they build up their customer base? How can they feel confident that what they have here is something that people want?
That's a great question, Tammy.
It's a very long and lengthy question.
No, but okay. I can tell the viewers it really comes down to a mindset, and the greatest mindset you can have is a mindset to serve. For me, I'll tell you one of the biggest promotions and boosts and exactly what you're talking about was when I wasn't looking for it. I took a call and was asked to serve at a local church here in Pasadena at Impact Harvest. And they said, hey, can you come preach a message for us? Sure, yeah, I'll come. And next thing you know, I've got all these fans and people, hey, having money, hey, oh, you got to do this. And then, getting business deals and this and people promoting and just, all this exposure when my heart was just to serve. And I remember the pastor yelling at me the last time I spoke at the church saying, hey, where's your books? How come you didn't bring your books? What's going on? I was like, oh, I'm sorry. He's like, no, you need to get this out. The people need it. So when you come with a servant's heart and you serve first, you will be so amazed at what happens on the back end. Too many times people come in with an agenda of, okay, like you're saying, how can I build my numbers? How can I get this? How can I get this? And again, there's something about it that people know, and it kind of, there's something about that guy. Oh, I'm not sure, and we'll use the old, insurance salesman kind of mindset, But if you come in and actually serve people and serve first, it's a natural reaction to go, man, how can I help this guy? How can I promote this guy? Oh my gosh, this Evan Money guy. No. So for me, it was just serving, and now it's again for me. Anytime there's an opportunity to serve, I know, hey, indirectly, something's going to happen out of this. So I would recommend, again, if people are looking to grow their business, real service with an honest to goodness, how can I serve is the secret.
I was having that same conversation with a friend of mine today, as a matter of fact. And we both determined that we're out there in the community. We go to events and we talk to people and we help, we volunteer, we're working our butts off on some things where we're not going to see a dime from it, but it's worth it. And what ends up happening is that people see you out and about doing X, Y, and Z, and helping your community. And then when the time comes that they need your service or something from you, they're thinking about you first because they just recently saw you at some event or something. So that sounds like exactly what you're talking about.
Absolutely. And again, it's coming in with the real service mindset. Not saying, okay, I'm going to go serve. Okay, and while I'm helping out, I'm going to pass out some business cards. Right. It's just, hey, you go to serve and be you, and you'll be surprised how much comes on the back end.
Yeah. What about competition? There's, I think a lot of people might sit there and go, okay, so it's a new year. I don't have a job, my unemployment's running out, I'm going to go ahead and start this business. But, you know, so-and-so's doing it and so-and-so's doing this. What would you say to people if they're sitting there looking at, well, I don't know, I might not be as good as the competition, you know, that kind of thing. What would you say to them?
Ooh, well, competition is actually one of the greatest serendipities of business. And the reason why is because it forces you to get out of your comfort zone. It forces you to say, wow, how can I improve? Because, for example, you say competition. We'll use the sports. I'm a sports guy, so use a sports analogy. If scoring a touchdown was easy, 70,000 people wouldn't be freaking out if someone gets in the end zone.
Right.
Same with soccer, scoring a goal, baseball, hitting a home run, or whatever. It's not exciting if it's easy to do. So what the competition does is it makes you stronger, it makes you get creative, it makes you more savvy, and it shapes you and it forms you. If it was easy, you know, again, we've seen some certain industries where, you know, pre-crash, it was really easy. You know, being a realtor 4 years ago was easy. You roll out of bed, sell a house. Okay? Now the realtors that are left are really good.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, you know what? Wow, look how much I've improved. And so the competition, it's about embracing that to say, hey, how can I get better, stronger, faster? And on the flip side also, it's understanding, like you said, how can I be different? And so what I encourage a lot of entrepreneurs to do is to be them in their business and say there's only, because there's only one Tammy.
Right, and you're selling yourself when you're out there marketing and, you know, trying to get your business in front of people. It's not necessarily about the business. I'm learning this as I go along because I also started Crown City News and Crown City Media along with my husband on a shoestring and a prayer, maybe a quarter of a shoestring. You said you started yours on a half a shoestring. I think maybe ours was a quarter of a shoestring. And but ultimately, what I'm finding out is that when I'm sitting there talking about the things that we are doing to help the community and that we are doing to help aspiring journalists at Crown City News and Crown City Media and that kind of thing, it ends up that they're talking to me or talking to my husband about what steps that they took to get there and getting to know the person. And you end up like sometimes hardly talking about the business itself. You're talking about you and engaging the other person.
No, and again, it's really, like you've discovered, a lot of it is relationships.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the success gurus in business and everything, I've heard this quote 1,000 times, but it's true. All things being equal, people do business with people they like.
Yeah.
All things being unequal, people do business with people they like. And so, again, it's understanding, hey, it's really about a relationship and understanding about saying it's you being you, because there's only one you. Yeah. There can be 1,000 pizza places, there can be 1,000 internet sites, there can be all this stuff, but there's only one you. And when you put you in the business, great things happen. A perfect example is this billion-dollar business known as Zappos Shoes. Okay? Selling shoes online. You know, what a dumb business idea. You know, you got to stock every size, you got to do this, you got to do this. And Tony created this billion-dollar business from putting, again, himself in the business, which is, hey, I want to serve people, I want to help people, I want to be nice to the customer. And because of that, Wall Street's going, wow, maybe there's something to this. You know, his thing was all about happiness. I want to put happiness in the workplace. So whatever business it is, you put you in it, and you will succeed. If you try to be somebody else, not going to work.
Okay, we're starting to run out of time, but I have one burning question. And you know what? You know, I don't know if you're going to answer it or not, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Evan Money, is that really your parents' given name, the name that they gave you?
That's a great question. And actually, I'm glad to be on TV to answer it because it's a
great name.
No,
even if it's just a stage name, you know, it's a great name.
I'll tell you this: my wife unashamedly married money. And she was happy to do so. I wanted to name my son Cash and my daughter Penny. I fought really hard for Penny, Tammy. I was like, come on, honey, Penny money.
Thank goodness for your wife is what your kid's saying right now.
But it really was a legacy factor for me. And I'm glad to share this with other people because too many people think, oh, well, I had this traumatic childhood, or, you know, my parents did this to me, or my parents did that to me, or a lot of people forget, and I'll keep it short, but a lot of people forget Oprah's story. I'll use this as a classic example. People don't remember that Oprah was sexually abused as a child. They don't remember she lived on the streets. They don't remember she gave birth to a stillborn child. They don't remember she was as down and out can be. And so you could look back at that and say, well, because of this, I can't do this and this and this, or in spite of. And so at an early age, I saw the dysfunction on my mom's side and on my dad's side. And early on, I decided that, hey, I didn't want any of this, and I wanted to kind of start my own family tree. So I made the decision about junior high to change my name.
Wow.
And as I've gone through and searched, unfortunately, the last name that I was given really didn't have a legacy to it. It was changed when my dad came, or my dad's parents came over from Europe. And so I don't even know what my real last name is.
Wow.
And with all this dysfunction, I said, you know what, I'm just going to start fresh. So about 20 years ago, I changed from a nickname, and the nickname was E-Money. And it started with a friend, and then it just caught and grew. And I said, well, you know what? I like money because it's easy to spell, it's easy to pronounce, except when I go to the bank, they call me Mr. Mooney. And then I just... But
okay.
for all the people out there listening, for me, it was about legacy. And it was like, hey, you know what? We're going to start a new family tree, a family tree that's about staying together, that's about being happy, that's not about all this other garbage. And so, again, it was just a legacy factor that has grown out of control now.
That's a great story. I love it. I wish I'd asked that first, you know, but that's all right. Thank you so much. Evan Money, life coach, online life coach, helping a lot of people out there. And that's it for the show. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Join us next time right here on CCN Game Changers.